Welcome back to DivakDevelopers.com. Today we're pouring the Gypcrete. That is the stuff that goes on top of our radiant heat and our sleepers that I showed you before. Now Gypcrete is 3 elements. It's kind of like a sheetrock based product. It is made out of water, sand, and a powdery Gypcrete they mix in all together. It's kind of like cement and everything, but very watery, which we'll show you upstairs. What they'll do is they load it in the hopper, they'll load sand in there, they pour the other ingredient like the powder, Gypcrete, and then all the water gets mixed in, and then they pump it upstairs, and then they pump it all around, and then they'll sit there with a trowel and trowel it all off, which I'll show you upstairs about it. So let's go take a look over here now. Alright, there you are. This room they did already. Okay, I want to show you that real quick. Turn around and look at it. It's like, you can see the sleepers that are still on there. That's what we're going to nail our wood into. It's very, watery, as you'll see when they put it in. It looks very watery. It takes about 2 to 3 hours to cure. But you can start walking on it about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It doesn't look like you can, but you definitely can. They're down the hole right now, and they're spraying it all in between there. And I want to show you that real quick, so come on, check it out. If you look over here, they're already starting to put it down. They're taking a hose over here, and if you notice that it's all like this, the water comes through, it's filling up each cavity. And Don over there is going around, and he's making sure it's all nice and smooth, and clearing off the top of the sleeper so we can see them all. And when he gets a break, we'll be able to talk to him and ask him a couple questions. But that's basically it right there.
Did I ever cancel the XM3
Really neat process. And so when Don gets a break, we'll talk to him in a couple minutes. There's a couple ways that you could put this stuff down. You could use sleepers, which is wood, or you could use a Gypcrete, or a concrete base too. We do that a lot when we put tile over the top of it. The wood lays all down. It's more costly. It's a lot harder to do, and you run the piping in between all the pieces of wood. You cut them all out and you lay it down like this. This stuff actually will disperse the heat a little bit better because it'll heat up the Gypcrete, and that brings out the heat a lot better. So that's why it's a good product to use in here compared to like using wood or something else like that. A couple things that we did to prepare that I want to talk to you about too. I want to make sure that you know that like when you walk around, any kind of holes, as you can tell because it's so water based, any kind of holes will leak right through. So you really kind of got to go around, look at it, fill all the holes up, put some nailer plates down, make sure that it doesn't go through, fill any holes with spray foam, anything you can do, because it will leak through. There's no doubt about it and create a mess. And you definitely want to make sure you do that. The other thing too is that what we do is we put wire mesh down, as you saw, and I think I talked about that before, but I'll say it again, is that what that does is help it cure to the plywood a little bit better, so that if any movement happens, the Gypcrete itself will not crack and crack your tile. I mean, if any movement happens with your hardwood floor, it's not going to be a big problem because hardwood floor moves, whatever like that, it's wood, but tile won't crack. So that's really important that you definitely put down that wire mesh for it. It will help in rigidity. And then also there's a membrane that goes on top of that when you do your tile that you want to help, that'll help it elasticate or stretch out a little bit more, so make sure that it doesn't crack too. So you put that over the top of it before you put your tile down. So you want to make sure your contractor's doing that too, okay? It's been a week and a half since the last time we shot video down here. I want to show you. If you look down over here, you can see that it's all drying and everything's starting to shrink up a little bit, and it's really coming along really good. A couple things with this that you have a ton of moisture. Alright, so especially in the winter, like right now when we're shooting like outside, it is 25 degrees. And you have a lot of moisture that we've gotten rid of already. So when you first came in here, we were running dehumidifiers, fans. We're constantly trying to move this air. Very important that your contractor does this, even in the summer, because what happens is all the moisture goes into the walls and could start creating mold. You don't want that to happen. I mean, because like you saw, it was a soupy mess that they're all pouring down like that. And you definitely want to make sure that that stuff is moving around and they're getting it out of your house as best as possible. As you notice too, over here, we didn't spackle yet because we don't want to spackle. It brings in more moisture into the house. We have the heat running, about 60 degrees. You don't want it too high because what happens if you have it too high, it starts to crack. It'll cure and dry too fast. So you want to make sure that, we can't spackle yet, and we're still not ready to spackle, probably towards the end of this week, so another 3 or 4 days. Over here is our bathroom. Okay, so we did our sleepers. I wanted to show you the bathroom over here. And what's going to happen in our bathroom is that we have to seal this. Now we have to wait until all of the gypcrete is dry before we can seal it, okay? So we want to make sure that it's all dry, and there's a couple ways you can tell, and there's a couple ways that you can test to see and make sure it's dry. One of the things you want to do is you get a piece of plastic and then you get a heavy, say, spackle bucket or a piece of plywood with something on top of it, maybe a 2x2, 3x3, and you want to take it and you want to put it down on your gypcrete. Leave it for like 2 to 3 days. And when you come back, a couple things could happen. If you lift it up, it might be moisture underneath it. You see condensation, not dry, really still wet. Or when you pull it away and you look at the color, you want to see the color. Where it is, it'll be darker. Where you left it for a couple days and lighter on the outside, still not dry, so you can't do anything. You have to make sure it's dry. So then what happens next on our tile, especially, is we will seal it when it's dry. And we'll spray the sealer down, and then we're going to put a membrane over the top of that. There's a couple ways they can do it. They could roll the sealer on, they could roll the membrane on. Rolling the membrane on is just like a little rubber thing, and that works too, but the best thing is it's like rolls of plastic, but it's rolls of membrane, and we'll show you that you lay down, and it creates a bond, so when it moves, that it doesn't crack your tile. Make sure your contractor's doing that. Really important. You lay this stuff, the tile right down on top of this stuff, and it moves a little bit, it's going to crack, and it's going to cause a nightmare. You're also taking the sealer, and we're going to spray over where the hardwood is too, because all the glue that we put down and the sealer will help, and they will bind together, so it'll make a nice, good, secure feel over there. I also want to take you upstairs right now, and I'll show you the attic, what we've been doing up there, because all of that moisture, where's it go? The attic. Now the attic, what happens is all your rafters, your ceiling rafters, your roof rafters, and the plywood start to condensate and drip. And I mean, it was heavy duty. You have to move that stuff around because it will start to show a lot of, you'll get, your moisture will create mold. And you make sure that you don't want to have mold because that is a really bad thing. So let's take a look upstairs. We'll go up there now. Might get a little, okay, here we are in the attic right now. Over here is one of the floor blowers that I was talking about. We have one of them. We have actually 3 of them all around here. We have regular fans that are blowing over here. I actually have dehumidifiers that are also running. They help too. So up here I had 3 dehumidifiers, 5 fans. I have a box fan, whatever I can get my hands on to just move air constantly around here. It's been, like I said, about a week and a half. So everything is pretty much dry. Got a little condensation down below, which I keep moving the fans around. So everything is, the moisture content is really low and it's really good right now. So we've made it through, put it that way, without it really freezing. It was cold, but it still worked. It worked out really well. I brought some heat in from downstairs too, left the doors open and let this thing really breathe. That's really, really important. You want to make sure that happens so you got no mold at all. So thanks for watching DivakDevelopers.com. Any questions, info@DivakDevelopers.com. Get a hold of me. I'll answer any questions you have, and thanks again.